Good day, emerging mothers. I hope all is well on your end. Listen, this is proof that I just think about you all while I'm at home, while I'm at church, while I'm out and about, and even while I'm at the airport. I'm sure that you all are able to see in my background a runway back there, of course, sitting and waiting because my flight has been delayed 3 times. So it's so interesting how I'm still able to focus on now day 5 of our masterclass, our Emerging Mothers Masterclass. I am so excited that you all have taken the time to spend with me. So I totally appreciate that. So while I'm here at the airport and waiting for my delayed flight, I was thinking, of course, about ways we can strengthen our bond with our teens. Listen, I am Dr. Michelle Lloyd with Lloyd Learning Labs, and what we do is we support mothers with anxiety as it relates to teens transitioning into adults prior to them transitioning out of the home, whether they're going off to the college campus, whether our teens are going off to the military, or whether our teens are going off towards residential independence. That's what we do. We support mothers with anxiety prior to that transition taking place. So listen, let's just go ahead and jump in, because I'd like to talk about just different ways that we can, of course, strengthen that bond between us and our teen. So first and foremost, I am curious to know in what areas, and you know what, if you all would just drop right there down in the chat, what areas do you think that your bond with your teen needs to be strengthened? Just drop that down in the chat. I'd like to know. And while you're thinking about that and dropping that down in the chat, let me just begin with the first point, because you know I'm all about tossing tips and dropping gems. And the first tip is to first and foremost breathe. It's critically important that we breathe. Listen, we do a lot. We're picking up and dropping off kids, and you know what? Where we are right now, well, of course, I have this going into a freshman year, but our older teens, young adults, of course, you know, they're driving, so no need to drop them off and pick them up, but we're still needing to be there for them, and that takes some mental space. And so all I'm saying is that we need to breathe, and there are quite a few breathing exercises that can help us along the way. Then also there's something that, you know, some have been doing. It's called tapping, or where people, you know, I've heard about it, read about it just a little bit, where they begin, and it could even be called something else, but where they tap their cheek, and then they tap their forehead, and then they tap their nose and tap their chin all the way. And there's some type of way where the body reacts to that in a calmer way, in a more serene, in a more sincere way. And that's a way, of course, to calm your body. But there are all types of techniques and all types of breathing strategies that can help us. And you know what? Those are very, very important. We need to breathe. We do. And then guess what? Secondly, we need to practice mindfulness. And when I mention practice mindfulness, I'm talking about participating in activities or outings such as just simply taking a walk and enjoying nature. I know a number of people who like to just get out and just, enjoy a good walk, or they like to, maybe go to the park. They like to, maybe get on a boat and just, a little, not a motorboat, but maybe do a little rowing out on a lake, something that just helps us to look inward. Help us to practice self-awareness. Because when we practice self-awareness, listen, a number of the other emotional intelligence constructs, they have a tendency to come into place. Because guess what? When we practice self-awareness, we know where we are. We know what we're feeling. We know, of course, what we're thinking. We're looking inward, so that we can make whatever adjustments or amendments or tweak whatever needs to be changed within, prior to us focusing on social awareness, relationship management, and the other construct, which is of course has to do with relationship management and social awareness. So there's self-awareness, there's social awareness, there's self-management, and then there's relationship management. Those are the four constructs, and I look forward to digging deeper into each one of those at one of our lives or one of our master classes as well, just so that we're crystal clear about what all of those mean, so we can move forward having healthy relationships. So of course, number one, we need to breathe. We need to relax. And then secondly, we need to make sure that we are practicing mindfulness. That's very, very important. And then also, we need to, when we're wanting to strengthen our relationship with our teens, we need to make sure that we're talking to them. You know, there are some things that may be a concern to them. And sometimes when we are in a conversation with them and that concern comes up, then, you know, it's important for us to go ahead and take the time to talk. I mean, you know, anything that we communicate with them about, it could maybe bring to their remembrance, you know, something that may have happened that day, or something that may have happened that month, or something may have happened that quarter. We want to make sure that we take an interest. You know, it could be something that we're clueless about, because so much new is going on with our teens today. But guess what? You know, it may mean that we need to maybe even Google it, or we may need to, you know, even explore whatever parts of that conversation, so that we can even maybe come back to them later and discuss it even further. So let's make sure that we talk to them, and of course take a concern, take care about what it is they're talking about and what's on their minds. And then listen, after that, I would, you know, just be upset with myself if I overlooked the fourth tip of we need to listen. That is so important, so that the flow is not necessarily coming from us all the time, but yet it's coming to us as well. And when it's coming to us, we need to make sure that we have all ears on deck. I know sometimes we say all hands on deck when we're needing help with something, but by golly, we need to have all ears on deck, and we need to be open-minded. And this is, you know, where, you know, I'm in the trenches too, and so these are areas that I'm focusing on, and I'm needing to make sure that I have wrapped my brain around some of these strategies that I'm sharing with you all. We need to make sure that we're listening. And you know what? Just this past weekend, of course, I found myself sitting at my kitchen table, listening, doing some listening and sharing my thoughts, and listening some more and sharing my thoughts again. But nonetheless, I did do quite a bit of listening, because guess what? That's important. It's critically important. And then also, we need to ask questions. You know, I mentioned this just, you know, seconds ago briefly, but, you know, sometimes there could be something that's on their mind, and, you know, or an issue that maybe they may want to explore with you. There may be a subject matter or a discussion topic that, you know, maybe they're wanting to know more about. You know, one of my daughters just last weekend was asking me about a particular topic that, of course, I had experienced in my past, and I was able to shed some light on the subject matter. And so, you know, they are, you know, they are curious about what we think about certain matters. And so, you know, just being open and then asking questions, and then also taking mental notes is important as well, because sometimes, you know what, some of these conversations, they really kind of link together. And then you know, you may not know everything in one conversation, but a few of them together could help you to get a clearer picture of what could be going on. And then, you know what, whatever it is that they're mentioning or talking about, or, you know, whatever it is that they're interested in, you know, it's good for us to get involved. It's good for us to get involved. And, you know, whether it's, you know, sports, or whether it's fashion, or whether it's the arts, or whether it's, you know, maybe a particular club, coding club, or just whatever, you know, let's find a way to get involved. And, you know, it's interesting, you know, that as time progresses, then, you know, sometimes their interest changes. And, you know, I just asked my daughter today, what are your interests? And so, she liked traveling. I knew she liked it back, here within the last couple of years. And so she told me, it's traveling. So that's still an interest of hers. And so I'm glad it made me, excited and proud, because I remember even a trip that her and I took with our church, Sugar Land Baptist Church. Some years ago, after she graduated from high school, we took a trip to Nairobi, Kenya, and it was insightful, and we were able to, just see a totally different world. And I was just, my eyes were opened. Yes, I was enlightened. And along with other church members, we were there to help fund and to help, of course, create a basketball court for them, also initiate a vacation Bible school for them. We went into the hospitals when we were in Nairobi, Kenya. It was so much fun. Just myself and my oldest daughter had gone. When we went into the hospitals where people were ill and some mothers were having babies, we were able to pray over them. That was super duper exciting. And it was just, we went into the streets of Nairobi, Kenya, and and prayed for individuals in some of the maybe neighborhood streets. Also, we went to a school. I'll have to show those pictures sometime. I hope I'm able to show those pictures sometime, or drop them in our Emerging Mothers private Facebook group. I hope I'm able to do that, just to kind of share an experience that I encountered with my older daughter. And you know what, Emerging Mothers, listen, you drop some pictures as well about those things that you like to do with your teens, and just to show that how you're just participating and involved and motivating them towards their interests. So if you'll please do that, that would be absolutely awesome. And so also, so relax and breathe. Of course, we touched on that. Practice mindfulness. You'll want to do that, of course. Talk. That's 3. Tip number 3. 4, listen. I'm unable to even say listen one time, because we know that is so important. We want to listen. And then also we want to ask questions. We do. And then we want to get involved. And guess what? There are 2 more that I'd like to share. And you know what? This next one, the 7th tip that I'd like to toss, I alluded to this yesterday just a little bit. I just spent just a couple of seconds. I stuck just a pin in this one just for just a couple of seconds. And we want to, as we're building our bond, we want to avoid compounding any fears that they have. We have a tendency, things that we're afraid of, we have a tendency to sometimes apply those onto our daughters or our sons. And it could be something that, they may not even be afraid of. Or if they have a fear, then guess what? We can talk that fear down. We can allow them to feel it and then help them to resolve it. We can do that as mothers. And so let's really, when we sense a fear within our teens, let's really spend some time there. And I may even just do a segment just on that alone, so I can just share some strategies as it pertains to fears that they have. And guess what? We all have them. And it's important for us to feel them because they're real. But then do they have to overtake us? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you all this. I try on purpose to do something every day that could possibly make me afraid. Just so that I can, that's one way to overcome fear, because I believe the more we do anything, the better we become. So, look, I was in a conversation with my mother earlier today, and she said, you know what, you're just all over the place talking to people in your Facebook, in your private Facebook. You're in restaurants, people are walking past, and they're behind, and people are sitting at the table, and you're just, and and you know what, and I just love her. But guess what? my number one goal is to serve mothers. Serve mothers. Mothers of high school juniors and seniors, because that was a challenge for me. Many of you all know that when my daughter started to transition out of the home, it was like, whoa, wait, what is this? What is this? One of my heartbeats are about to be on the outside of my door living. And so I told myself that I'm going to give other mothers more the confidence that's needed prior to that transition taking place. I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend the rest of my life doing that so that they're prepared and so that they're ready for that transition to take place. And so, in talking about fears, we can feel them, but then there are strategies to overcome them, as opposed to them just succumbing us and taking over us. That's something that we do not want, because guess what? We ought to be living life more abundantly. And how can we live life more abundantly when we're in fear? I rebuke that. I rebuke fear in the name of Jesus. I do. It says over 500 times in the Bible, do not fear. And I am determined not to fear. I'm determined. So, and then guess what? My eighth tip that I want to toss, my eighth gem that I want to drop, is that when you're in conversation with your teen, I encourage you to, in those conversations, to just remind them that you are just a phone call away. So they will know that you are there and you will be available, and if not available then, you'll jingle them back. But just that in itself, that dropping that nugget for them would help them to believe within themselves, listen, she has me. He has me. I'm taken care of. I'm not alone. Because if we're honest, behind all of us is this huge tribe of people who are inspiring us, motivating us, catapulting us forward so that we're able to do what it is that God has called us to do. I absolutely love this letter that the Apostle Paul wrote to the church in Colossus. And he was telling the people of the church to set those affections on the things up above and not on the things on this earth. Guess what? These things on this earth, you know what? They can have us in fear, and they can make us, wonder if there's anyone who's behind us to support us, to encourage us, to inspire us, to help launch us forward, to motivate. Not only do we have our tribe, but we have our Heavenly Father who's watching over us and caring for us and protecting us and keeping us safe. But by the same token, there's something for all of us to do. And whereas what's for me to do is to serve you and to help you. And so please seek out what you're called to do and know that there's a tribe behind you and that there's support, and do not fear. And just like we have our support, we want our teens to have their support as well. So let them know, remind them that you're just a phone call away. Listen, I am just so excited that we had a chance to talk on today. While I'm here waiting on this third delayed plane, which is okay. It gave me a chance to chat with you. And as you know, the Masterclass just had to go on. And of course, we have an exciting topic for tomorrow. I'm so excited about it. And so I won't even reveal what that topic is right now. But know that that I will be back at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And although what I'll do is I will drop this video in our Emerging Mothers private exclusive Facebook page. And if you have yet to join, please search us on Facebook. Just search Emerging Mothers Lloyd Learning Lab and join us. All types of videos and graphics and all of those different types of things that can help us to have the confidence we need prior to our teens transitioning out of our homes. Listen, I love you all. I appreciate appreciate you. Thank you for spending this time with me while I'm waiting on this plane. You have definitely kept me company, and I will be back to chat with you on tomorrow. Take care while I'm in Chicago. But nonetheless, and I hear it's raining there, but all is well. I'll be inside, and we'll chat again. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.